There, you see the 30 minutes is up there. All right. Please introduce yourself and your organization. Thank you.
Good afternoon to the chair and to the commission. Thanks so much for your efforts here. My name is Chelsea Higgs Wise. I live in the 77th House District, and I also run marijuana justice with the Cannajustice Coalition. Many of my remarks today are in response to what we've heard today, and also just want to continue to offer our support for any information that is needed regarding what's happening here in Virginia as well as across the country. Was really excited to hear our folks talk about the 2020 JLARC study, and so I just wanted to also lift other points from the JLARC study that was also mentioned. Just continuing to support the Cannabis Control Authority, as when we talked about putting it under the ABC, that it would actually create more or less benefits than if we had our CCA. The only benefit was that with ABC that it would be faster. So continuing to support the CCA. In 2020, JLARC also stated that urgency is not in our best interest, and even quoted many Illinois legislators that said they wish they had slowed down. So as we move forward with creating our legislation and our regulations, that it's okay to take our time and make sure that we're doing this the right way. The JLARC 2020 also stated that in order for that equity loan to be funded in the first and second year, that it should come from existing funds. So a capital loan from Virginia to Virginia that would be repaid, and that tax revenue is written out in that JLARC report. And past bills that has actually been leveraged for possibly other bigger entities in cannabis to come in first with transitional or early sales, we can actually just use these recommendations from JLARC to do that. I also just want to make sure that we understand that we want to make sure that our stores are around the 350, and what that can mean if we allow for certain operators to hold multi-licenses under one license, and just see that those are certain exceptions that we are allowing that could possibly not be exceptions for maybe some of our small businesses and farmers. I just want to really also share that we have many connections to experts across the country. So we don't have to feel like we have to learn our lessons on our own or the hard way. So I think it's going to be really important that we look at what's happening across the state. It was also mentioned across the country. It was also mentioned about public consumption. I just want to urge this body, before we make any more recommendations to criminalizing public consumption, to remember that, number one, people that live in public housing cannot consume anyway. It's completely federally prohibited. Most states that ramp up their public consumption laws, it targets people that are homeless, houseless, and very poor. And just again, remembering that landlords can prohibit that, and we are not or we have not yet really discussed consumption lounges or consumption spaces that offer that alternative space for consuming when you're not allowed to consume in your home. So we're basically criminalizing that if they have nowhere to smoke or consume in their home, nor anywhere to do that outside of their home. We talked at length as well about the benefits, and really appreciate the question from Delegate Price about the campaigns and what they focus on. We are connected to Dr. Jane Allen, who actually helped with the Truth campaign with tobacco. And she would be more than happy to help also recommend other pieces about how this campaign can really be a public health conscious campaign. My name is Chelsea Higgs Wise. Again, really happy that this commission is meeting, and thank you all for your work.
Thank you, Chelsea. I want to just comment quickly that you've mentioned some really good resources. If you could get a list of some of those to us. But number one, the JLARC study that you referenced, all the commissioners should reread that. I know, refresh yourself with that, because it's old, it's 5 years old, but it's still very applicable, and they did a lot of good hard work. I'll also mention, I should have mentioned this earlier, it's the Crime Commission on August 19th is going to be hearing presentations on impaired driving, and they're going to have DFS and DMV are going to present, and they're going to try to get somebody from Maryland there and to talk about their Green Lab program. So anyway, and maybe I'm sure CCA will probably be invited to testify too. But there's some good resources going on right now, but there's some good stuff that you have given us, and so thank you very much for that.
Of course, in the JLARC chapter is chapter 11. And I'll also just mention there is a line in this current bill from 2025 that says any technology that is passed for roadside driving and says it's approved will be allowed for cannabis. I want to just caution the commission on that because roadside testing is actually the #1 reason for false arrests, and that many of these technologies are proven to be unconstitutional and give false results. So as we talk about drug driving, we're not saying it's not a problem, but we're saying that maybe the technology that's being rushed out there is also not the answer. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.